So as you can see from that animation I've just shown you, there are many different forms of bullying, and it can happen anywhere at any time. When we were growing up, no matter what generation we grew up in, there was always this image that bullying only occurs when there's a tough physical strength of a beast like Nelson from The Simpsons. That was our image of somebody who bullied another person. And then we grew up, we have Mean Girls. This image of girls who are bitchy and feel that they're it, so they feel as everyone else is inferior to them. They feel as if they've got the power, they're superior. But today's society, there's a thing known as cyberbullying. It doesn't matter if you're a girl. It doesn't matter if you're the best little girl in the school. It doesn't matter if you're tough, tall, fat, skinny, what age you are, what race you are, or where you come from. You can be cyberbullied, and you can cyberbully. As you can see, all that separates them is a screen. It says here, "Say it to my face." Many things that are said online, I'm almost 100% sure that you wouldn't say them to somebody's face. Because if you said it in the street, you could end up being arrested for it. Some of them have been that serious. So, social media gives many of us, millions of people each day, the opportunity to be anonymous, to bully other people online. Because 64% of young people are bullied each day across the UK and Ireland online alone. That's not including the school bullying. Hands up, how many of you have a social media account at all? I think that's about 100%. Some of you might not put your hand up, so it might be 98, 99. That doesn't surprise me. I ask that question no matter what school I go to. But I was in a school in my hometown there last year, and it was age groups between 8 and 10. I asked the same question. 90% of people put their hands up. 8-year-olds are on Facebook. 8-year-olds have Xbox Live and are contacting people from across the world. They're being bullied and they don't seem to realise what's going on because they're so young. In fact, the legal age to have a social media account is 13. So they've lied about their age, whether their parents or guardians are telling them to do it, or they're just oblivious to the whole thing. They know nothing about social media. And this is going on behind their backs. We all have different devices now. iPhones, smartphones. We have computers, we have iPads. So many different ways we can connect to the internet. We can connect to different people from across the world. Bullying doesn't just happen in school anymore. 1 in every 4 young people are cyberbullied each day. So I want to put this into a context for you. I'm going to tell you a story. In 2010, a young girl who was 13, she turned 13, she wanted social media because all her mates were on it. She thought it was fantastic, you could connect to anybody from across the world. But she didn't realise it was dangerous to it also. She was being constantly teased at school, but she always had a fantastic support network of friends, family and teachers who were always there for her whenever she needed them. But one day in 2012, this teasing turned physical. When she was beaten up in front of about 150 to 200 people in her school ground. She got dealt with straight away. As usual, she would go home, go on Facebook to get away from it all, contact her friends to see what they're getting up to. Little did she know she would go home to people threatening her, telling her that she deserved to be beaten up, telling her that it should have happened sooner. Within 2 hours, same thing happened, same messages, but from anonymous accounts. Accounts were made up specifically to bully her regarding this incident. To this day, that girl still doesn't know who they are. Within 4 months, she actually gained the confidence and courage to speak to somebody about what was going on. Although it couldn't be dealt with specifically, because these were anonymous individuals, she got the support she needed. But the bullying then escalated on for another 8 months on different social media platforms, Ask FM, Twitter, you name it. Finally came to a halt. I'm not standing up in front of you making that up as I go along. I'm standing up here talking to you from experience. Some of you may have already realised halfway through, but that's my story. I was that girl. I was told constantly online that I didn't deserve to be here and that I should take my own life. Throughout my time being cyberbullied and bullied in general, I became depressed. I was treated for depression and PTSD as a result of the incident. But during that time also, I came to my own solution. Not many people, when they're having a tough time, think of an idea to help other people. But I needed to know if I was the only one, because no matter what you're going through, I'm sure if you're having a tough time, you always feel like you're the only one that's experiencing that. You feel like nobody else understands what you're going through. But I soon realised that 160,000 young people are bullied each day across the UK and Ireland alone. Only in the UK and Ireland. Students from the ages 4 to 18 feel constantly worried, embarrassed, terrified to go online, go into school because they're going to be bullied. I know many of you sitting here today, if not all of you, when you wake up in the morning you're like, I really don't want to go to school. I'm the same. I start back to uni on Monday. 6 o'clock start. I'm not looking forward to it. But I want you to ask yourself, are you worried? Or do you not want to go to school because you're worried about meeting somebody? You're worried that somebody's going to say something to you? Or do you not want to go to school because you prefer to lie in bed all day and watch Netflix? You have to come to this solution and realise, okay, which one is it? If I'm avoiding somebody, deal with it. You deal with it by talking to somebody. You can talk to a mate. You don't have to go to a teacher. You might feel more embarrassed by talking to teachers, but you shouldn't feel that way. You all talk to your friends about different things. I'm sure many of you talk to friends with football, whatever it may be, TV programs. If you're watching Pretty Little Liars and you want to know who A is and you're talking to your mates about that, I don't know. But you talk to your friends with so many positive things. You text them constantly. Why can't you take the same amount of time to tell your friend that you're not okay? To tell your friend that you're suffering, to tell your friend that you're being picked on. You might think, in particular with lads, fellas think, they're going to think I'm daft. They're going to think I shouldn't be worried about these things. We all have problems, no matter what our gender is. But we all need support. If you have true friends, they will be there for you no matter what. They won't turn around and say, would you wise up? That's nothing. They'll get you the support that you need. And when you get that support you need and deserve, you need to realise that the support that you get, you deserve also. Within a few months, you will realise that it has helped you along the way. We all need encouragement. Asking for help is never a sign of weakness. It simply shows you've tried to stay strong for too long on your own. Now you just need a bit of encouragement to help you along the way. The most successful people in life needed encouragement to get to where they are today. Richard Branson owns Virgin Airlines. He have a follower from Facebook. I can't remember his name. Who created Facebook? What's his name? That's it. Zuckerberg. Can't think of his name. But he needed encouragement to get where he is today. He wouldn't be a multi-billionaire if he didn't get help along the way. I'm sure he asks a question every now and again. He asked for help. He probably asked for investment or money from people to get to where he is. You can be successful too. You will be successful. You can't get there alone. So, there's so many different ways in which this can take place. And there's so many different solutions to problems. But you need to realise that people suffer. Everybody suffers. And the one way you can be there for each other is stop judging each other. Stop judging a book by its cover. Stop walking around school and thinking that everybody's life is brilliant. Everybody's got a fantastic home life. Nothing's going on with them. Have they got a perfect life? Because I'm going to change that. From these three images, I'm sure if I asked you for an adjective, you would all say happy, positive. They look genuinely happy. But each of these three had a same backstory. Each of these young people had a front. Their front was covering up that in fact they were depressed because they were being cyberbullied. That nobody knew about. Until in 2012, these three 16-year-olds' lives were cut short after they took their own lives after being cyberbullied. It goes to show that, yeah, this may be in America. It happens everywhere. It happens in our own towns, our own schools, our own families. It happened to me. Comes to anybody's door, don't be in denial and think it will never happen to you, because it can, and sadly it might. So just when you see somebody looking happy, it may be genuine. It's hard to see through a fake front, but what you do then is you'll be there for everybody when you can. When you text somebody, I'm sure many of you started off, well, what's the crack? You may not think anything about that because it's just normal. You do it. You do it without even looking at the phone. I do it. When you're walking into school and you see your mate in my bed, how's it going? You do it. We do it all the time. But sometimes those are questions that people really, really want to hear. I wanted for so long for somebody to ask me, was I okay? Because I knew I wasn't. But I wasn't confident enough to seek the help that I needed. When you hear the 9-letter question, how are you? It gives so many people the door to open that they need to get the help that they really deserve. So next time you're walking down the corridor, or you're meeting your mates, or you're meeting anybody, you have 3 choices. You can walk on and say nothing. You can shout something nasty in their face. Why you do that, I don't know. Or you can say, well, how are you? You're alright. And if they're not, if they really, really want to tell you, if they're having such a bad day, they will be honest with you and say, no, I'm not. But if they turn around and say, yeah, I'm fine, if you know by their face and their reaction, you know they're not. You take them aside and you talk to them. When I was growing up, when I was 9 or 10, I never believed that I could save a life. Mainly because I hated blood. If I seen it, it was like, well, I would faint. I never wanted to be a doctor or a vet. That was not for me. But when I became a campaigner 4 years ago, I realised nobody in this room needs a medical degree or a defibrillator to save a life. None of us need that. But if somebody is actually physically dying in front of you, they would be definitely good to have. But you don't know what somebody else is going through. So that one question could be the thing that just pulls somebody back from the edge. The reason why so many people cyberbully, and the reason why so many people think it's okay to threaten others online is because they see it like a completely different world. In their head, what goes online doesn't really exist. They don't think of Facebook and the real world being the same thing. They are. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Xbox Live, regardless of what it may be, Snapchat, at the other end of that screen, at the other end of that account, sits another individual, another human being that has feelings. Same as you and me. We all deserve to be treated with respect, both on and offline. Many of us don't think before we speak. Many of us don't think before we hit enter on a keyboard. On Twitter, you could be 140 characters away from destroying somebody's life. But you have 2 choices before you hit enter. You can delete it, or you can hit that enter key. But as well as that, it won't just affect the individual on the other side of that screen. It can affect you and whether or not you will have a successful career. About a fortnight ago, a Barcelona player, he was coming to be a Barcelona player, but the deal fell through due to a comment he made about Barcelona on social media a few years prior. It's back to haunt him. He's not playing for Barcelona anymore. He didn't get that deal he wanted. He might still be a millionaire football player, but he didn't want the role he wanted in that football team. He didn't get it because of something he posted a few years ago on social media. So even if you think you've deleted something, somebody may have screenshotted it, kept it. It's still out there for some people to see. There is never truly a delete key online. So always be careful, not just for the sake of others, but for your own sake. You might think, oh, I'm not thinking of careers right now. I'm not thinking of what I'll do when I'm 20 and I'm raising a family. But it can come back to haunt you if you want to get your dream job. Just be careful about that. So as I said, there are ways where you can help each other. You can be there simply. You can just ask the question, are you okay? Online, if you're being cyberbullied, you can do 3 things. You can stop from retaliating and replying back something nasty. You can block and you can report the person who's annoying you online. You might think if I do that, they're going to come back for me because they're going to know I did it. It's anonymous. Nobody knows that you've done that. But as well as that, you still need support. That's not going to help you with the aftermath that had on you. You go and you talk to somebody about it. But before you do that, make sure you have evidence to back yourself up. It will stop. It stopped for me. It stopped for me because I took a stand and I wanted to help other people. But I'm not saying if you're being bullied, each and every one of you need to go out and create a campaign to help other people. Because I'm still thinking now, that's quite a mad idea. You just need to rebuild the confidence that you lost as a result of it. In Ireland, we are renowned for having a lack of self-esteem, a lack of confidence, even if you're not being bullied. I want you to go home, whether or not you are into your smartphones or you're into the old-fashioned journal and pen. I want you to write down 5 things that you're proud of in your life. Some of you might think that's daft, but it's not. 5 things that you're proud of, that you're happy about in your life. It could be scoring a winning goal in a championship game. It could be picked to play in the team. It could be anything that you're proud of. Something that you're positive about in your life. When you're having a tough day, go back to them 5 things. I'm not saying it's going to be an instant fix. Oh, you're going to be okay again. But it will help you gain the confidence you need to get to the next step in your life. You've all had positive pasts. You've all had a past, some things that you're proud of and some things that you wish would happen again. This might be a negative present, but there's a future out there and it can and will be positive if you let it. Don't let this bump in the road be a bump on your road to success, because it won't be. Just constantly, the last message I'll leave you with is just be there for each other. I know you might think it's daft and it means nothing, but if you're in the canteen at lunch and you see somebody sitting on their own, I'm not asking you to be a saint and be their best mate. I'm asking you to ask them, do they want to sit with you? For all you know, that could be a massive thing for them in their week. You might know. You see somebody sitting in their own at break time, go have a chat with them. You know, your mates won't, if you've got true friends, as I've said before, they won't judge you for that. In fact, they'll join you. If you see somebody being bullied, bullying is tarnished by numbers. The more people taking a stand, the more people who are stating that it's not right, the more chance it is to stopping. You can change somebody's life today. All you need to do is be there. Thank you.